All right, well, I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for attending another Keystroke Live. What I'll start off with doing is just muting the group, and if you have any quick questions or any things you'd like to ask while you're muted, you can use the chat function down in the bottom section. So I'll go ahead and do that now, and then we'll get started. Thanks for the good turnout. Today we're going to go over the Keystroke toolbars in our Keystroke Live. Last week Mike Gebb went over some of the macro functions and how you can call out macros through the toolbars. And then Jay and Nick went through the previous week on how to add nested toolbars, if you want to call them that, or overlaid toolbars. As always, we meet every Thursday now at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. And we're going to get started. Some of the things I'd like to talk about in Keystroke toolbars are kind of some of the basics about differences between the functions of send keys versus the run menu options. In the past, we always used to use the most popular tool, the send keys option, to send a sequence of keystrokes to the program. And depending on where you were at, you might have different results. And so the run menu option is kind of a recommended way of doing almost the same thing as the send keys when you're really just talking about going to different modules or using different menu options, like, for instance, an edit print option and so forth. I'm going to also go through some of the advanced POS features with the advanced toolbars. Some of these features can be done in the regular Keystroke POS, but most of them are advanced-only features where we can do things like a customer history, very easily click on one button and see a whole list of the invoices for a certain customer. We can do a transaction or item search, same kind of idea. I could pick one item and see what transactions it's on. We also have a serial number search. It's a lot more friendly than trying to go to Report Manager and use filters. Right in Sales Manager, you can use our advanced toolbar to pick an item and then just search for a serial number on the list. And I've got some examples I'm going to show you in our tutor data. And then, I don't know if we went through this, but in setting up toolbars, we now have the appearance function in version 7.1.5, which we kind of officially released. And if you haven't gotten a copy of it, give us a call. We'll send you the link for that. And the toolbar picker is inside, I call it the toolbar picker. It's a way to select which toolbar you'd like to use. It's a great tool for the resellers in being able to demonstrate themes and colors and different styles of toolbars for them to show that there's some versatility in showing that with your help you could sell in Keystroke and customize toolbars to be used on touchscreens and so forth. So let's get started. I'm going to jump into Keystroke here. And I'll just show you a few things. So here we are in Keystroke. This is version 7.1.5. Most of these features already exist. What I'm going to start talking about, first of all, is the difference between the send keys options and a run menu option. Over here we have a edit invoice button. If I right-click on that and just select the edit button option, the edit toolbars option is an advanced-only feature. The edit button option will show me the actual command that is being used. So here we're going to use that run menu command. And the difference between this is that as long as you get the wording right, it goes up to the top menu, in this case the transaction menu in the upper left. It's going to select edit print, it's going to select sales invoice, and it's going to select date. And this can be used in different parts. For instance, if you're here on the enter customer screen, I see a lot of people create toolbars that will, for instance, hit escape once or twice, then hit the alt key, and then the letter T, and then E for edit print, and then I for invoice, and then N for number, or D for date in this example, to get a list. There's some pitfalls that might happen using the send keys command, in that some of the hotkeys might change around, or especially if you were using, let's say, the transaction menu and then use the down arrow, like 1, 2 times. And then later on, we add a new feature called search, and we move everything down. Now you're hitting enter on the search. So the run menu command is more of a direct hit. So I'll go ahead and clear this transaction, and I'll click on the edit invoice. And you're going to see it doesn't work here because we have to change it. I saw this earlier. Edit print view. Whoops, sorry. Cap lock. And I'll say OK. Well, so much for this demo. This is the one Mike Gebb was tinkering with last week. Run menu transaction, edit print view, sales invoice date. Well, let me try something different here. Edit print view, sales invoice by date. Well, I might move on and come back to this one. It's usually something very simple I'm missing here. But our goal here is to actually use the run menu commands to actually get to a certain place. Here's some of our commands that are already in our navigation menu. I'm going to move on to something different, then I'll come back to this and see what I've probably done incorrectly in Sales Manager to get this to work. So what I'm going to go through next is the actual features in Advanced. And for instance, this is a new toolbar. This is our advanced toolbar, and it goes through, it has a couple of toolbars already created. This is what we call kind of a hanging toolbar. When I click on this, the toolbar actually opens a new toolbar, and then when I click it a second time, it closes that toolbar. I'm going to do an example here, and I have customer number 18 that has a few sales. I'm going to show you the toolbar that talks about the transaction or the current customer search. I'm going to go ahead and click on current customer, and it's going to show me in what we call the quick view list all the transactions over the last year for this customer. Now this is our sample data. So we actually have invoices, we have some recurring charges and on holds and so forth. And I can just up arrow through this, or I can use the mouse and click on a certain transaction. But as you notice, as I go through the different transactions, I do get kind of a summary and a quick view of the invoice. This recurring charge, for instance, here is a bottle of wine at $20. It's kind of like a wine club example. I can go down and look at this invoice here, has a printer on it and a cable. And here's an on hold that's been set up that has a few different things on it. So this is kind of a nice feature. It's a way to look things up. For instance, a lot of companies will create quotes, and then the customer calls back and says, oh, I was working with so-and-so with a quote. They can easily pull up the customer, click on this transaction menu, and select the current customer and see all the transactions, whether it's a quote, an on hold, or an invoice. And that saves them some time trying to find out who created what. So that's a nice feature. Let's see what it's actually doing here in this toolbar. If I edit the button, it actually does a few things. It turns off the transaction search header. It toolbars off the search buttons. This is when I'm clicking the current customer. It's going to take away this search transactions yellow box. It's going to take away this transaction search buttons, the blue boxes, and it's going to do a sales entry command, which is part of advanced only, which is transaction search, customer equals, and you'll see the token here is called %current%, which is the current customer on the transaction. So that's what that button is doing. I'll just clear the sale here. We'll start over. I'll show it to you one more time. So we go to the transaction option, select current customer. It opens up the quick view. Then we can find the on hold I was working on and select it, for instance. So let's take a look at one of the other ones. I'm going to highlight this baseball cap here. We've sold it a few times. I might find out that I want to see what other transactions this one item is on. And so maybe it's tickets. If you're selling tickets for tonight's performance, you can actually pull up that performance and hit enter on this current item button, and it'll show you all the invoices and all the customers that will be showing up. I'm going to click on this here. And here's a quick view of the invoices and on hold in this case, all the transactions that have stock number 8, the baseball cap. So if you look at this line that the baseball cap is highlighted in kind of a yellowish orange color, it's to show you whereabouts on the transaction this resides. As I go down here and I start looking through other transactions, this invoice here to NFL equipment has only one line item. Same thing here, this walk-in customer. And it also shows their payments and so forth. And this is a cash customer that bought some cigarettes in the baseball cap. And as you can see, the item is highlighted. Just taking a quick look at what this is doing. We'll open this up, current item, edit button. And here it does the same thing. It's going to turn off this yellowish colored header. It's going to turn off the search buttons. It's going to then do the sales entry command, which is transaction search item equals current selected price. And it actually is looking at the item that was sold at that certain price. So that's a new command. And you can find these commands, like for instance, the sales entry command. I'll just create a new line in case I click on something here. By clicking on the little lookup feature, that's the binoculars, selecting sales entry command, and then it shows me some of the different options. We have the enter customer entry we just talked about. We have the enter line. We have an enter payment, which is this is just a way to actually just select a payment. So we don't have to necessarily use the control keys like control F1 or control F2 to select those. We can actually say, I want to make sure it's payment number 2, which is cash. I want to select on account. That's payment number 3. And then we have this roundup for charity. It's a new feature. And then we have the transaction search, and that's kind of what I'm doing here through these transactions. So I'm not going to select anything. I'm just going to hit escape. And as you can see, besides what we're going over today, I believe Mike Gebb went through the run macro options last time. The run menu is what we'll have to see why I couldn't get that working and see if there's any problem with that working. And so forth. There's playing sounds. You can make, instead of just the beep or something, you can actually play a different wave file. So you can do different things for that. So these are the different options. Again, in today's demonstration, we're going to keep it kind of simple to show what's always been in Keystroke. So let me cancel this and show it to you one more time. I will, let's do this a different way here, for instance. Clear the sale. I could come through here and put in stock number 8, which is a ball cap, and say who has bought this item. And I could go ahead and click on my transaction search, current item, and it shows those transactions again. I can do it, for instance, let's see, another item I've sold, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 game. I can do the same. I can go to current item and click on that, and then it shows me, oh, there's an on hold, there's an invoice, and there's an archive of a sales order. So I can go through these and just get arrowing through the transactions. I can see what they paid for and who bought it. And that's kind of how the item search works. Well, let's show you another thing. People that are in, for instance, if you sell guns or something, you have to track your serial number and who bought what gun at what time. If you're selling computers, you might have a serial number for a box, for a completed computer. You might have a serial number for a TV or monitor. And you want to just find who bought a certain serial number and when it was purchased and so forth. I can go to this transaction search here and just click on serial number. And I've written one down that I know I've sold for this demonstration. And it's HP 222-9902. So I just enter the serial number that I'm looking for. I hit enter, and it finds me that transaction. It actually finds the transaction, highlights the line item. Then I can also know, oh, that was a printer. Sometimes you're told what the serial number is, but don't know what model or make you actually sold. And again, it shows that serial number down below. So that's a kind of a good example there. So we have a few different things that we're going to go through here. I think I got a little hint from Nick on this, and I think it's the slashes in there. I'm going to look at this button and see where I may have broken it. And notice that if you ever use the run menu command, the hyphen or the minus symbol is what designates between the different commands. So the transaction is one word, edit print view is actually one other option, and then sales invoice is another one. Let's see if this works. Nope. I'll get back to that. I think I did test this on a previous version, so something must have happened. What I'd like to do next to kind of show you some of the new features is to go back to the toolbar picker. I use the name toolbar picker. It's probably not exactly what it is, but it's a way to look at toolbars that we're currently shipping in 715 and see how there's some different flavors that you can use for your Keystroke program. So let's go jump into Keystroke, and I'll show you that in Configuration Manager. So we'll go up to the exit menu and go to Configuration Manager. If you haven't looked at the new settings and appearance option in 715, and if you don't have 715, just give us a call and we'll send you a link and send you your product ID for it. Besides, a lot of this stuff in the past we used to put in INI files. We used to say toolbars file equals, and you call out a special toolbar that you've made for somebody. This is kind of a little more user-friendly, allows you to go through the program and kind of change different themes quickly and change your toolbar files. Let's go with this Desert Browns. And here's some toolbar files that we're shipping, and in this case we actually have kind of like JPEG screenshots of the toolbar, so you kind of have a flavor for it. If you were to go in and really change a toolbar completely, you may not look like the picture here. But we have some of these different brown colored buttons. These are kind of the oval looking colors. We have rounded buttons and so forth. We have this one called Demo Colors to show people all the different levels of colors you can go through. One of the things, here's one that's theoretically for a gas station. You've got the different grades of gas at the top. If they sell food or drinks, this is what Nick and Jay went through 2 weeks ago, talking about overlaid. If you click like the food button, the list of food items will come up at the bottom, drinks, the list of the coffee might come up, and so forth like that. I'm going to go ahead and just select the advanced. That's what we were just using. Here's one with a little different theme to it. I'm going to select this one. And maybe I'm going to change my color theme to be kind of a green. And then I can quickly go into Sales Manager and kind of see what I'm looking at. So very quickly and easily you can kind of change the different toolbars and the themes of the colors all from the Appearance tab in Configuration Manager. Let's go back. Actually, on this one, I'm going to kind of tinker around with the toolbar editor, and I'm going to import. I'm going to import in a different toolbar. Let's say this number pad down below. This one here, when I click it once, it highlights the actual toolbar. Let's say I'm going to want to grab a toolbar for somewhere else. So I'm going to come down to the Import Toolbar function down below, and it brings up a list. This is in the Keystroke Files Toolbars folder. And let's say I like the brown 2 oval one. I'm going to just, when I click this and say Open, it is actually showing me that toolbar and kind of asking me what do I want, what parts of this do I want to import in. So if I liked this grouping of payments, I could grab it. In this case, I'm just going to show you that I want to grab just the number pad and bring it in. So I'm going to select, I can either go Mark for Import. It shows me right there that the number pad has been marked. I'll say Import and Exit. And now it's kind of showing me both of them there, side by side. And this one's called Numpad 2. But if I go back to the regular numpad, you can see the blue is highlighted. And I go to Sales Manager and turn it off. And I'm going to hit save and exit, and you'll see the result. And actually, I can turn it off here, and that's going to slide itself over, and I can hit save and exit. And now I kind of have a very easy way to take somebody's great work. Hopefully some of your resellers, your dealers, will say, I've got this great toolbar I like, and they either share it with us or email it to you, and then you can say, you know, I really want to just grab this number pad down below. But maybe I want to keep the keyboard with the same theme that it was before. So that's kind of a way you can use the import feature. And I'm going to go show you one more thing here, that when I hit save and exit, excuse me while I bounce around, I got to find my computer. This is my Keystroke Tutor Toolbars folder. And notice here that I've been working on the TB Advanced toolbar. This is the one that I just saved right here at the bottom. And while I was making changes, it was making me a series of backup files. So if I ever messed things up, I could go in and do some quick renaming and then close and reopen the program, and it would reload the toolbar. So if I made a catastrophic problem, we now have, I believe, up to 9 different backups, 1 through 9, and that usually should suffice. But if you have a toolbar you like, always make a good backup of it before you play around with it. Back to Keystroke. Here we go. So now, for instance, I can go back and select a different toolbar in Configuration Manager under Settings and Appearance. And this is where I could kind of reset things back. I can actually, that's why it did say TB2, because I was using that TB2, not the Advanced. I could say, no, I want to go back to the Advanced one. And just by double-clicking it, that's been saved. I can change my color theme back to the default. And then maybe just change this one to, let's do blue snow for this 13 inches of snow we had today here in Colorado. So now I come back, and notice a new feature here in the toolbars. We have this kind of theme where we actually have transparent toolbars at the top. We've done this on purpose to make them transparent so that they kind of take on the theme. And so now that top part has that theme. This payment side is not themed, but if I click on the keyboard, you'll see the keyboard has the theme. So it's kind of an easy way to play around and show people that there's a lot we can do with the toolbars and the themes and the color schemes. And if you don't like pink buttons, it's very easy to just click on a button, change it, go find the color you do like. Probably doesn't work too well when you use dark colors with black text. But I can go ahead and pick a lighter color. Let's see, this is blues. Let's go with some kind of blue theme here. Kind of a blue. So I could go through and change some of these colors and so forth. So that's kind of what I'd like to just share today with toolbars. Just the new themes. And again, there's lots of neat stuff we can do in 715 with the appearances and so forth. I'm going to unmute the group here. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to take any questions at this time.
Can you quit that? Somebody.
It went away. The birds stopped chirping. All right, very good. So, all right. Well, does anyone have any questions? And if not, I will just finish up and thank everyone for coming today.
They're afraid of us.
Thank you.
All righty. I think I'll go ahead and mute everybody and say goodbye. Did someone have a question? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.